Okay, we should be live right now. You guys should have audio. You should be able to hear me loud and clear. Chat, if you can, just someone in the chat, let me know. Give me a thumbs up or a 1 if the audio is clear and you guys can hear me. It looks like I got all green bars, hopefully. And I already have Hernando is waiting on deck. He's in the lobby right now. So you can go ahead and chat with him. I'll give a couple shout outs and then say hey to some people. I'm going to bring Hernando right on because I'm not going to waste his time. This man's very busy, and I appreciate him coming on tonight to address the issues and give an eyewitness testimony to what's going on. For all of us who have no, or let's just say have somewhat of an idea what's going on at the border right now. But what really drew me into Hernando the other night on the space call was, well, first of all, his sign off is better than break the wheel. Unfortunately, he has probably the best sign off in social media history. But he said something that really stuck with me. He said, this is all the Cloward-Piven strategy. And you guys who've been following me for a while know I've been talking about that on the live streams. We've mentioned it. We brought up what it is, why they're doing it, and what we can possibly be looking in our near future to, again, remember, guys, this is something that they talked about back in the 70s, Kissinger, all these guys, the people at Columbia, Cloward and Piven, the two teachers or professors who came up with the strategy. It's a real thing that they're trying to do. So just do me a favor, and I know that I have the best subscribers in the world, and I don't have to worry about you guys, but understand that Hernando is doing us a huge favor by coming on and talking tonight, and I appreciate everything he is doing. All right, so I'm going to say hey to some people. We'll throw the chat up on the overlay, and let me get a background for you guys, and then I'm going to bring Hernando on in like 2 minutes, and we're going to get right into the meat and potatoes. I'm not trying to waste anyone's time tonight, especially Hernando's. He's really busy, and I was very fortunate to have made contact with him the other night, and he agreed to come on. So make sure you guys show him some love. I'm going to have him plug all of his, social media so you can follow him, support him, the best you can, because this is a true patriot who's out there documenting what's going on and, standing up for what's good in the world. And we need more people like that. But Donkey, what's going on? Good evening tonight. Broke Ape, how you doing? Good to see you tonight, my friend. King Buzz 33. Any yes-tards want to admit that they were wrong. King Buzz, we're going to be talking about something a lot bigger than yes-tards tonight. You might not want to stick around for this. If your feelings are that hurt about the yes-tards, you might not be able to handle this conversation. Border Patrol USA, good evening tonight. How you doing? King Buzz says, are you a part of the Apollo Silverback Club or the social experts? King Buzz, let me tell you what's going on in my head right now. So I got and started this channel and came and turned my camera on to come on here because of what was going on in the stock market back in 2021. And I saw what they did to retail investors, and I wanted to push back against that, right? But in the last 2.5 years, I've come to the realization that this is a lot broader, and we got bigger issues right now to deal with than the stock market, as far as I'm concerned. Because what good is it getting rich off the stock market if we're going to have to live in some commie hellscape? And that's what they're setting us up for right now. So if you sold before the reverse split, I'm very happy for you, man. I want retail to win no matter what at the end of the day. But I think what we're talking about tonight is just way more important than Ken Griffin and Adam Aaron and AMC and what my portfolio looks like. All right? Don't take it personal, man. All right. We got 53 in the chat right now. I'm going to bring Hernando on, and he's going to just, kind of tell you a little bit about himself. I'm going to have him plug all the social media, and then we're going to go into a couple questions. And if you have a question you want to ask, throw it up in the chat, and I will pose it to Hernando. Without further ado, Hernando Arce, citizen journalist. Welcome to the show.
Well, hey, what's up, John?
Hey,
Thank
man.
you for inviting me to your show, man. I'm excited to be here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much for, agreeing to come on tonight and giving up your personal time to talk with my audience. And, I just, like I said, when I heard you speak in the space call the other night, and that's where we first connected,
Right.
said, just a concerned citizen. He's like, when the cops ask me, who am I? He goes, I just tell them I'm a concerned citizen. That's all. And that's really all we are, right? I mean, at the end of the day, that is all we are. We're nothing special. We're just some concerned citizens who are looking to better our country and make sure the future is secure for the next generation coming behind us, right?
I believe so, and the people that follow me are concerned as well. That's why they follow me, John. 2 months ago, I had 300 followers on Twitter. I was a private citizen, and just to go back, now I have over 15,000. So there must be a hunger or for knowledge of what's really going on the border. Because John, the media, the legacy media is not telling the public what's really happening. And I don't say that to toot my horn. I just say that because to show that there's a hunger for this type of journalism.
Yep.
So to start my story, John, my story goes back to New York City. I'm from the East Coast.
Me too.
Yeah, I see. I
Yeah.
like your hat. I like the Kango. You remind me
Oh,
of my
the
boys.
Kango? Okay.
You remind me of my boys in New York City. I miss my boys. I'm from
Yeah, yeah.
Brooklyn, and so the story with me goes back to New York. I was born and raised in New York, Queens, and Brooklyn, working class family. Colombian American. My mom came here legally 50 years ago, and I went to college, joined the U.S. Navy Reserve during college, got my GI Bill, all that good stuff. I did it for patriotism back then. It was a thing. Now I don't know anymore. But what I noticed in my neighborhood, John, was that my neighborhood slowly started to change demographic wise. The culture changed. And by the time I was ready to leave in 2014, I didn't recognize my neighborhood. So what did I did? I pulled out my phone back then, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and I started documenting my neighborhood, the boulevards, Junction Boulevard, Roosevelt Avenue in Queens. If anyone from Queens knows those areas, it's a third world country there, John. And so I left. I'm a political refugee asylum seeking asylum in Texas. They approved my application. Once I learned I could own a gun in Texas, I said, sign me up, because I couldn't own a gun in New York City. It was almost impossible. And
Same thing
so,
with Boston. It's almost impossible to own a
it's
firearm.
ridiculous. It's
Yep.
ridiculous, man.
Yep.
I mean,
A
security.
constitutional God-given right is being
Yeah, exactly.
rejected. Yep. Yep.
And I drove a cab in New York City. It was a family business, driving a yellow cab, and my protection was like a hammer underneath my seat, for God's sakes, and I was robbed. But getting back to the immigration, I came here thinking I'm here in Texas, come and take it, the Alamo, don't tread on me, all these slogans that are bumper stickers, man. Because I'm in South Texas. I'm telling you, there is no white cowboy hat gonna save us from what's going on in this invasion 2 hours from where I live right here. So that's when I grabbed up my phone again, because it's like a freaking nightmare, like this nightmare that doesn't want to leave me alone. And my backyard the center is only like 5 miles from my house. So I picked up the phone and started documenting when they first opened up July of 2022. I started documenting the illegal crisis here, John. Back to you.
Okay. So you've been on this for about 16, 17 months now total. You've been doing the documentation.
Yeah, a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just for the audience right now, I'm gonna pull up a from X, from Hernando's account. And Hernando, why don't you tell everyone what your Twitter handle is so people can go follow you?
Yeah, thank you, John. It's gonna be my name, just like you see it spelled on the platform here, Hernando Arce, man. That's my Twitter. My IG, my Instagram is Hernando_Patriot. Those are the only two major ones I fuck with. Facebook is a waste of time. Sorry.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so this is Hernando's page right here that I'm pulling up and showing you guys. This was the way that I found Hernando originally was because he had posted a couple things in Twitter, And you guys have been following me for a while, know that I did a couple of videos talking about what's going on at the border and my assertions to what the game plan is. What is the long game on this? Like what do they hope to accomplish from this unvetted, unrelenting illegal immigration coming to the country, right? And it concerned me. And again, for those of you guys who are here because you subscribe to my channel for, all our stock market talk, for at least tonight, I want to try to focus in on what's going on at the border right now. I think it's really important that everyone understand what is happening. And, it's funny. I'll tell you this. Let me tell you this, Hernando, because you're not going to believe this. So,
Yeah.
for the first time in 6 months tonight, I talked to my parents for the first time because me and you talked earlier
Mhm.
today. I kind of told you a little bit about me.
Yeah.
And
Right.
if my mom's watching right now, hey, mom. But for the first time, we talked tonight in a long time. And, I just said to her, I see the republic really diminishing. I see it being taken away from us. I see our rights slowly being eroded. And, we got veterans out in the streets right
Mm.
now in every major city across this country
Mm.
who they couldn't find a nickel to spare for 2 years ago. But now all of a sudden, Chicago and New York have $100 million to build migrant camps for people who illegally have crossed over the border into this country, allowed by our federal government and the Department of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas. And, I don't know if you've seen the clip before, Hernando, of Biden talking about that. Have you ever seen the clip of Biden talking about unrelenting illegal migration coming into the country?
Well, isn't he's the one that said that he wanted to surge when he was running for president in the debates? He said, "I want to surge. Please come in." I remember that part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so let's go into the first topic because I think the biggest thing that, at least for me, and chat, feel free to shout anything out you want or to ask a question. But the biggest thing for me right now is what's going on with the children at the border, especially the ones who. Now, you did a great piece the other night on Twitter, on your account. You spoke with a Venezuelan woman and you were asking her about the DNA swabs for familial DNA, right? So, can you explain a little bit like what's going on with that? Just tell the audience.
Yeah, when I go to the center is a welcoming center here in San Antonio, so your audience understands what's going on here. I'm 2 hours from the border. They bus them in here from the border, uh, private charter buses, and this is like a depot, a holding area, so they can take a shower, get a meal, and then from here they shoot out by airplane, mostly airlines, into the interior. So the center I'm at holds about 800 people capacity. We get 1,000 people a day, every day, 1,000. So there's a massive turnover every day that the city has to do. And so it's like a gold mine for me because you get new meat, new fresh meat every day. And I'm there with my iPhone recording, and I ask the questions the Americans ask me to ask them, because I want to educate my audience on what's going on. The media is not going to tell you. So one of the questions I asked this young Venezuelan with 2 children, and the videos on my Twitter, was, did they do the DNA swab test in your mouth to confirm that these are your children? And she said yes. And she's not the only one that said yes. I've interviewed a number of them. They all say yes. I asked them, how long does it take? 3 to 5 days. And that's what's going on in the Eagle Pass. I don't know about these other sectors because there's 7 other ports of entries along the southern border: California, Arizona, Texas. I think one in New Mexico. But you know, they're doing a swab test, and that's a good thing. It might be because we put pressure on the government. The problem with that is these NGOs, time is money, and for them to wait 5 days for a DNA test is a problem because those tents over by the border with where the Custom Border Patrol and ICE is, they have to get it turned over. So it's a time sensitive situation for these NGOs because they want to get paid. But this lady says yes, she got her swab test done.
Okay. Okay. So we talked about that earlier. I mean, you kind of discussed that a little bit. We said that, to me, that was like refreshing news to know that, hey, maybe they are doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? They are doing that. And I'm not, I have no idea who that Venezuelan woman was. I don't know if she's telling the truth or not, but to me, they seem like her children didn't seem petrified. They seem like they were really her kids, right? But
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have heard some bad stories, right?
I've seen some situations where that actually I got two videos I haven't posted yet where the one I'll let your audience know the video's not up yet, but one of these illegals came back to the center because her child is missing. They like the government kidnapped her kid, and she's out there talking to the NGO on the gate at the gate saying, "How do I get a hold of my child?" And then the lady's giving her the red tape. You got to call Office of Refugee Resettlement, ORR, Office of Refugee Resettlement. They're the ones that are responsible to house these children. Every day, on average, there are 11,000 children being housed in Texas alone. 11,000 without parents right now as we speak, and they're probably getting molested and raped in those centers. But to answer your question, yeah. And then I saw another party. An American woman was standing by the gate. She looked suspect. I was watching it from the corner of my eye, and sure enough, a family unit, a woman with 3 kids comes. There was no hugs because there always hugs. There's always reunions there with balloons and flowers for their family reunion. It's crazy over there. This one was more of a business transaction. So I chased her down. I got it on camera, and they were hiding their faces, and they got in the vehicle and they boogied out of there. So that was definitely suspect. So there's some shady shit going on there for sure, John.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
I'm gonna pull this up real quick, just for you guys who don't know what ORR is. So this is the Office of Refugee Resettlement. It's for the Administration of Children and Families, and they talk here about the Homeland Security Act of 2002. Again, a lot of this goes back to post 9/11 and all the big changes that were made in order to change the policies to where they are today. Um, I remember Hernando just a few months back. Before I came out here, there was a story that was going on in Boston. There was a party that was raided because someone had passed away, and it was a certain type of party that I'm not going to get into specifics, but and they found 2 unaccompanied minors who had come over the border, and the police department and the fire department who responded to the calls in Boston. If you guys want to Google this, you can. They suppressed all of the information about what was going on, and that was kind of my first hint to there's got to be some shady stuff going on that we have no idea about right now. But I have to say, you stopping and talking with that Venezuelan woman the other day gave me a little hope that maybe things are turning around just a little bit. Right now, it's only because of people like you that are out there documenting this and putting pressure on our politicians and those who are. I saw your video the other day about the social workers at the Walmart. Can I pull that video up? Do you mind if I just play a piece of it?
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
Okay. So this is the largest international known child sex trafficking supercenter in the world. This is now correct me if I'm wrong, Hernando. This is a former Walmart, correct?
Super Walmart.
Super Walmart. Okay.
Big boys, the big ones.
Okay. Got it. All right. I'm gonna play a little bit of Hernando's documentation here, and then hang on. Boom. All right. Here we go. All right, you guys should. Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm gonna open it up big so everyone can see. All right, so this is from yesterday, right, Hernando? Yeah.
Yes, sir. You like that?
Hello everyone, it's Hernando Arce here, citizen journalist, and I'm here with Carlos Arellano. And we made the journey to stop number 3, which is Brownsville area, McAllen, Texas. We are how many miles from the border, Carlos?
Shoot, I'm gonna say about the Brownsville border, probably about 10 miles.
10 miles, well, 10 miles away from the border. And what you're about to see as I cover this footage here is the largest international child sex trafficking facility in the world. So get ready. It's Hernando Arce here, in Brownsville, Texas. What you're about to witness here is this.
Now, Hernando, real quick, where is Brownsville? Brownsville is what part of Texas are we talking about? We're talking about like mid south, right?
That's way down by the Gulf of Mexico, bro.
Okay, but right on the border with the right on the Mexican border, right? Brownsville,
Yeah,
pretty much.
Monterosa.
Okay,
Monterosa is the Mexican side. Yes.
okay, got it.
This shopping center, which was a former Walmart, is now Southwest Keys programs CASHAPP, an NGO, one of the largest NGOs here in South Texas. And every vehicle here is a case manager, employee of this facility. Look at this lot. It's completely full. Every spot is taken, and it's taken outside this perimeter as well. We're walking in an easement here. We're not on private property. This is a public easement, street easement. There are shopping centers across the street, Pizza Patron, insurance company, McDonald's, a working gas station operating. And within all of these commercial businesses, you have the largest international child trafficking, sex trafficking facility. And yes, it is the mafia. It is the mafia that's working in here.
All right, so Hernando, for the audience, kind of explain right now, what is this facility that we're looking at? What are we looking at right here?
Well, to explain this, with this whole invasion, the government hires NGOs. NGO stands for non-government organizations. They do the dirty work for the government. It's a third party. They're making billions of dollars. This has become a billion-dollar business. And so this facility is run by Southwest Keys, and they're one of the largest. If one of my followers pulled up their income that they got, the grants, every year is $300 million, $400 million a year for the last 5 years out of your tax dollars, guys. And so this NGA is responsible for controlling, transporting, maintaining, taking care of these kids, taking them from point A to point B. That's what they do all day. There's up to 2,000 young boys in this facility because they mix. They don't mix the girls with the boys, obviously for obvious reasons, right? And so this whistleblower used to work there. He used to go in there for work, and he said that he would hear babies, young boys crying for their mothers at night because the place echoes. It's a Walmart. It echoes, the rooms, and it's like a fucking nightmare, man. So that's what this NGO does, and this NGO was caught numbers of times, the employees molesting these children. One man was found guilty for molesting 3 or 4 boys in an airplane when he was transferring them to a smuggler. Another time, one of the managers in Arizona was molesting 7 boys. So these poor children, even though they're not here legally, they're still God's children. And it's Christmas time. They should be with their mothers and their family and their friends. Meanwhile, 11,000, as we speak now here in Texas, are in these kidnapping camps. They're being held hostage, John.
So when we talked earlier, I asked you, I said, do you remember like a few years back, or maybe it was 5 or 6 now, where they were talking about the Walmarts that were closing down around the country, and there was a bunch of conspiracy theories around that they were going to turn these into some kind of camps, right? We didn't know if they were re-education camps, whatever they were. But
Right.
Do you think this is happening on a larger scale than just at the border? Like, do you think this is a lot bigger than just in Brownsville, let's say?
Well, this is one of 5 other former Walmart stores just in Brownsville in South Texas. I'm not sure if there's other Walmarts across the country. I'm not sure if they've been refitted for this type of shit. But there are over 250 locations like this across the country. 250 different capacities, smaller. Some of them are infants only, like 3 months old, 1-year-old babies, infants. But some of them are larger, like this one. This one is the mega one, John.
Okay, all right. So this is so that's how you honed in. You keyed in on this area in particular, was because of its size and how many people are coming through there. All right, I'm gonna play a quick clip for you guys. This was just about a month ago. This was on the Senate floor. and Marsha Blackburn, the representative from Tennessee or senator from Tennessee, was talking to one of the women who's in a very high position of power with this unaccompanied minor children. So we're going to play this clip, and then Hernando can maybe fill us in on what he thinks about what said here. Hold on one second. Let me put this up.
Sure.
There we go. All right.
Testimony coming from you all, listening to what you've had to say. Basically, we've got a broken system. You don't know how to fix it. Money's not going to solve this problem, Ms. Nanda. You don't know the numbers. You don't know the law to enforce the law. So what comes across is that we've got a Homeland Security team here that doesn't believe in securing the homeland because you don't care enough to go deep enough into the issue to be able to define the problem and be able to fix it. Now, Ms. Marcos, I'm going to come to you because I've written Secretary Becerra twice about these children that they just can't find. Now, first letter, he got Acting Assistant Secretary Jeff Hill to send a non-response to my office. And then I sent another letter, and I haven't heard anything from him. I have asked that he come to the committee and talk to us about what has happened with these 85,000 children, where they are, and why efforts are not being made to find them and to be certain that they are being cared for. But there's no response to that because there again, you all believe in open borders. Your goal is not to secure the country and the border. Your goal is to just let everybody come on in and to hell with this trying to find 85,000 kids. You didn't vet the sponsors right. You did not do an FBI background check. Imagine that. You loosen what is required of people, and then you want to come here and say, we need more money so we can do our job. All right.
All right. So, Hernando, me and you, we are both immigrants to this country, one way or the other, right? You have Hispanic. You come from South America. My family comes from Eastern Europe, right? Originally, but now we're all Americans, and I think that it's important to realize that these children right now that are missing, that they brought these people in multiple times in front of Congress, and nobody has any answers. And I have no problem with us being a melting pot and, a fair opportunity for people who come here the legit way. Like you said, your mom came here from Colombia legally back, way back in the day. I don't think that is an issue. That's not the issue we're having right now. The issue we have right now is an unvetted, unrelenting, and no one is taking responsibility for anything. It seems like, I mean, the border czar herself, Kamala, our vice president, has done in my opinion, has done absolutely nothing to fix what is the problem at the border, which is it's wide open. And so when we sit here and talk about this, like, I don't want to sound like this is like me being an immigrant kid who is a little dark tan, but mostly probably people would say I'm white, right? So it's not my place to speak on this, but it has nothing to do with that. This is about the exploitation of children, about migrant workers. I mean, are we really going to sit here and pretend that the Democrats and the left, the people who are allowing this to go on, care about those people's lives so much? Or are we going to be serious about why this is happening, why they're allowing this to continue, right?
Yeah. Well, listen, to answer that question, you got to go back 40 years when President Reagan was the president. And I remember, because I was a young man, he gave amnesty to 3 million illegals in return for a secure border, a wall. We got the 3 illegals, but we never got the wall. Fast forward to today, we still don't have security. Why? Because the Democratic Party wants the votes. Your audience is smart. I know that. I don't want to preach to the choir, but I just want to recap.
No. Speak, preach.
Democrats want the fucking people to vote. They want these people to vote, and they're already getting IDs in California, New York, and Chicago. So it's just a matter of time. Maybe even this election, they're going to vote, and we know how they're going to vote. Number one, the Republicans don't have a secure border because they want the cheap labor. These international multinational corporations like Tyson Chicken, among other companies, they hire these teenage kids to work at their factories. So they're replacing the middle class and working class American. That's why I call the center. I used to call it the Illegal Human Trafficking Center. I call it now ARC. ARC stands for the American Replacement
ARC.
Center. These people are going to replace you. ARC, like almost like my name, right? ARCE.
Yeah.
These illegals are going to replace you guys watching this right now. All you blue collar guys, and I know you're into Wall Street and all that good stuff, but your average American middle class, they're being replaced by these people, bro. Along with AI, between AI and these illegals, we're fucked. So that's that. That's going back 40 years. This video of this woman, Mrs. Blackburn, senator. Yeah, these guys who work in these NGOs, dude, they don't even they maybe have a high school diploma. These counselors, these escorts. I know because Carlos told me they have no college degrees on sociology or children education. These are thugs that are taking these kids. And so another thing I want to educate, because my job is to educate the public. I keep saying that because you're not getting the real news, guys. You see those illegals walking around the airport with those yellow envelopes, right? Right? You seen those big envelopes, right? John, I've read those envelopes. Okay, yeah, good. I read those envelopes on camera. They're on my Twitter account. These people are not refugee asylums. So when you talk to your leftist liberal friends out there in the Northeast or everyone's watching, these people are not political refugees. These are not refugees. They've been arrested. The paperwork that I read says they've been arrested. They're not handcuffed. I was handcuffed because I was handcuffed for trespassing in the public.
Because you're a dirty American. That's why.
Yeah, I'm a dirty American, like Owen Schroyer said. We'll get to that about my arrest in a minute, being arrested in the public airport for recording these illegals. But they're not handcuffed. They don't get bond. They're out on their own reconnaissance. That's what the documents read. And they have a court date in usually around 60 to 90 days, right? Not with a judge, with an ICE babysitter to the city that they're going to be going to in the interior. That's what those documents read. It goes on and on, those documents. So they don't have a court date with a judge. That's gonna come back. That comes years from now, guys. Meanwhile, they're happy to stay here. They're not getting kicked out. So and then the additional document says that notice of appear. They need a notice to appear to court, right? And then the other 4 or 5 pages says that they got pro bono lawyers in the city they're going to. The American Lawyer Association is one of the biggest NGOs in this whole travesty. They get hundreds of millions of dollars. So these lawyers, they prep these people on what to tell the judge. And eventually when they go to see the judge, of course, 90% of them don't even go to the judge because they just go into the shadows. So that's what the doctors read, man. So they're not refugees. None of those papers say anything about refugee asylum.
Refugee status or any of that, right?
Nothing. Nothing, bro. Right. That comes if they're lucky. We're talking 15 years later, man. If they qualify for refugee asylum, we know they don't. 95% of them don't. So go back to you, John.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy,
all right,
man.
let's play. I'm gonna play. It is crazy. I'm gonna play this clip that you recorded. This is one of the first. I think it's your pinned. It might still be your pinned tweet. This is from the 29th of November, right? This is an illegal whistleblower talking about the flight status. So I'm going to play this and then, you can come on and comment on it and elaborate as much as you like. Hold on one second. Let me just put it up.
Yep.
Boom. Make it. There we go. All right. Hopefully you guys are seeing this.
¿Cómo tu nombre?
Carlos.
Carlos, me está entro mi carro porque tenía algo de decirme sobre lo que está pasando ahí en el centro de migración. Cuéntame, ¿qué está pasando ahí?
Mire, le voy a decir la verdad. La verdad es que sí ayudan algunas personas, nada más. Pero mire la injusticia que se está haciendo.
Dímelo.
Es como todo, es un centro donativo para inmigrantes. Ellos donan vuelos. donan boletos,
So
te
he's-
compran el pasaje. Pero
Okay.
si tú tienes una persona que te compra un pasaje, te lo compra por fuera y el pasaje te cuesta $700 para Montana, entonces ellos te llaman rápido y te llevan y te dicen, muéstrame el boleto. Cogen el número del boleto, el código, y te registran. Con solamente registrarte ellos, con el boleto que ha comprado la persona, ellos hacen un conteo de boletos, como la ONU lo está patrocinando, está patrocinando a los inmigrantes para las cuestiones de los boletos. Ellos registran el boleto que tú compraste con tu plata y ellos hacen pasar que ellos te donaron el boleto. Mandan esa cierta cantidad de boletos a un, no sé,
Gobierno.
a un gobierno, y ellos hacen pasar como si te compraron el boleto. Y la plata que la hacen.
Okay, un momento. So what he's declaring, right, he's testifying that what happens in the center is that these non-for-profit, faith-based organizations are actually creating fraudulent claims, because what he just said is that his family member is buying a ticket for him to get out of the country, get out of the city of San Antonio into the interior by the airplane, right, by the airport. However, the NGOs are saying that they actually purchased the ticket for him and then billing the government, the federal government. That is fraud.
Elaborate on that as much as you want, my friend, because that seems like a lot of this to me seems like it's boiling down to extortion and money laundering, in my opinion, right now. Like, the more I see of what you're reporting on, the more I think this is a way of siphoning money off from the U.S. taxpayer to go to places that are going to benefit a small amount of people down the road somewhere else. So go ahead, take it.
Yeah, thank you, John. So yeah, that guy is an illegal alien whistleblower. You know, he was scared to tell me in the street, so I had to bring him into my vehicle and cover his face because he was scared of what could happen with Homeland Security, going to send him back to his country. I forgot what country he was from, but here he is saying that he witnessed that the NGO is basically double dipping, right? But to put it in Lane's term, double dipping. His family bought the ticket. They said, show me the ticket on your phone. Come here, sit down in my process office in the center. Show me the ticket. What's that reservation number, that confirmation number? Boop, 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 boop. They put it in their computer database. Boom, send the bill to Washington, D.C., and they get paid back on that money when they didn't even buy the ticket. That's basically what he's saying. These are allegations now. I'm actually going to put a report in with the not the Attorney General, the Inspector General with this here video. I haven't done it yet because I've been too busy, but I'm going to do that and follow up with this shit, because this is what these NGOs are getting away with. And besides, they're making hundreds of millions of dollars. They're double dipping on you, the taxpayer, John.
So you mentioned the other night in the space call, and and correct me if I got this wrong, but you said that the three big players were the Catholic Charities, not the Catholic Church, the Catholic Charities, another NGO called Endeavor, and then one called, remind me what the third was, International something?
Interfaith Welcome
That's
Coalition.
it. Center Coalition, IFC, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So is this, in your opinion, is this a way? And we kind of touched on this a little bit the other night when me and you first talked about the tithing and raising money. Is this a way for basically these NGOs to steal money from the government, from the taxpayer,
Right.
and make it and be able to present false receipts and all these kind of things in order to rake in just hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars?
Yes, like I said, they're double dipping. The allegations they're double dipping, but yes, and that's not
Okay.
the first time we've heard this. There's been other type of fraud that's been going on with these NGOs because no one's watching over. There is no watchman for these.
There's
guys.
no oversight, right? There's no oversight, right?
Exactly.
Right.
And by the way,
and DHS Mayorkas, they are absolutely complicit. They have to be complicit in this, right? I mean, how is it that Border Patrol is so feckless they can't do their own job? I mean, I let's play this clip, because this is you in the same parking lot, I believe, from 2 days ago, right? And this cop comes up to you. This is a San Antonio cop, I believe. He tried to get you for trespassing, right? Let's play a little bit of this clip, just so the audience can see.
Okay.
I lost count. I lost count. I'm sure you did, my friend. All right, hold on. Let me put this out.
International largest child trafficking center in
Oh no, that's
the
on it.
world.
That's on it. Where is it? Hernando clips. Ay, ay, ay.
There you go.
Hernando Arce here, citizen journalist. I'm in Brownsville at that.
I want to get to when the cop
boys.
approaches you.
Yeah. Yeah, close. Yeah.
Here he is. Here we go.
Texas place.
So someone obviously called the cops on you for filming, right?
Yeah. The NGOs. The same ones that.
It was the NGOs.
It's always. They blow up my car. It's not a problem.
Brownsville police. 254, vehicle 254 approaching me. Good afternoon, officer. Officer Martinez, what's your badge number?
7159, sir.
I'm sorry?
7159.
7159. 7159. Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
Doing well.
What's going on?
I'm just documenting here on a public easement.
Okay.
How about you tell him just kick rocks and beat it? Can you happen if you do that? What you're trying to be non-confrontational, obviously, right here in this moment, right?
Yeah.
They were trying
you
to arrest you for filming. Okay, I'm just curious.
Center.
We got called out here because I guess you and your partner, they say that one of y'all ended up crossing past the easement on the outside by the other shack over there.
No, we were just on the street like this.
Yeah. They have certain barriers like that. I guess just make sure that y'all don't cross over to the other side.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And
Absolutely.
don't cross over to any of those things, so that way you avoid any problems.
Absolutely, officer. We're not here to break any rules. We're just here to document and record what's happening in the center.
Understandable. It's just, you know, I believe they said they saw you cross over, or one of you guys cross over. So.
All right. Well, I got it on video. Yeah.
Well, even better.
Right.
All right. Do you have any questions or anything for me, sir?
Which department are you with?
Brownsville Police.
Brownsville Police.
Are you from here?
No, sir. I'm from up north. I'm from San Antonio.
Can I have your name, sir?
My name is Concerned Citizen. Yes. But that's all.
I'm Mike Martinez.
Mike Martinez. Nice to meet you, sir. Have you had any calls for any domestic violence or any kidnapping here? Any type of abuse going on in the center? Inside the center? Never had any calls?
Not I. I haven't.
Your department? You haven't heard of anything?
I don't know if the department itself.
Okay. All right. You're not aware of any?
Nah, not me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anything else I can help you with?
No, that's it. Officer Martinez, thank you for your professionalism. I really appreciate that.
Sir, have a good one, man.
Yes, sir. All right.
I don't know if you can relay that information to your partner.
Yeah, he's over there. He doesn't want to come in. Yeah, he's over there making a phone call.
Let him know just to
Yeah.
try not to cross the border.
Yes, sir. Copy that.
Okay, so basically the NGOs called the Brownsville Police Department, BPD, on you guys, saying that you were trespassing, you crossed some imaginary barrier that you're not supposed to. Was that when you were filming the license plates, the tags in the parking lot of that Walmart area?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the other side,
okay.
yeah, I was there.
Okay. So they don't want anyone down there, not mainstream media, not citizen journalists. They don't want nobody down there. That's why they are sending law enforcement to basically harass you and make you aware that they're aware of your presence, right? Am I getting that right?
They have something to hide. Yeah, because they're hiding something.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, why else would first of all, why would the police department show up? This is a former Walmart. It's not a government. That's not a government building, right? And who owns that old super Walmart? Is that government property?
No, it's not
privately owned. Okay. Okay. So, and the NGOs probably have some affiliation with whoever owns that, I'm assuming, right? Maybe, possibly.
I haven't investigated that.
Okay. All right. That's something we could talk about in the future.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, like, what is, why would they possibly be calling the police on you if they weren't worried about you exposing something? Because no one else is down there but you, right? You are the only one on the ground there documenting, filming this. And if you had nothing to hide, just like, most of us out there, the average everyday citizen, when they say, oh, what are you so scared about your rights being taken away for? If you have nothing to hide, what's the big deal? You know what I mean? Like, I get that feeling that there's something deeper here that they don't want to address, or they don't want filmed, or whatever it is, for maybe further down the line, if anything ever comes back and people are saying, well, I have the license plates of all these social workers who, committed such and such crimes in the future, right? Am I wrong on that, or?
Yeah, I mean, because they will be held accountable. That's why I record everything and save all my videos, because there will be a reckoning. May not be tomorrow, but maybe 5 or 10 years from now, we're gonna look back and say, "What the fuck were we thinking? How could we do this to the children, God's children?" And shame on them. I try to shame them as much as possible. Believe me.
Yeah, man. I mean, and that's why, like, when I first saw, you're reporting and you going on the space call and doing everything, I'm like, man, this guy's got his heart in the right place. Same place where I think mine is when I hear stuff like this, and only because you're down there on the ground, documenting it. Because if not, we would have no idea, right? We would be absolutely clueless to this.
Right.
Like, we could have our suspicions, but with you there, it's certainly, in my opinion, is putting pressure on people to start doing the right thing. And, like, if that's what it's going to take, like, then the more the merrier, right? I mean, the more we need to be exposing this, putting it
Yeah,
out there, letting
that's my
our
call
fellow
to arms.
Americans know. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's my call to arms. I tell people, listen, I'm a regular guy. I don't have a crew. I do have a full-time job, man. I do this between my job, and I tell everyone, illumination. When you illuminate, like this light here, it's illuminating, right? When you illuminate, it will lead to elimination. Illuminate, and it will lead to elimination. And so that's kind of like my motto now. And it just takes your iPhone. You just hit that little red button there on your camera app and start recording, because that's, calling your congressman doesn't work anymore, guys. The congressmen, these politicians, they're the ones that got us into this mess. You think they give a
I
shit about
know.
you, about this shit? They don't give a shit. They're making their kickbacks from these NGOs. So, but if you illuminate and then you embarrass them, so they want to run for re-election, but you embarrass them because you posted these videos on their timeline, then
I'm
that's
not
when you get,
voting for them. Right.
and they're voting for
Right.
them, right?
That's how you make change. Yep. But Donkey says that was a perfect exchange. Well done, Hernando. I'm assuming he's meeting talking with the police officer. And yeah, man, I mean, you handled that perfect, right? To a
I'm getting used to
T.
it. I'm getting
Show the officer respect, and they will
right.
respect you back. I mean, look how that was Swayze, right? I mean,
You
yeah,
should see the video
yeah.
where I got arrested. The audience needs to know that I got arrested at a public airport like last month. I'm suing the shit
Okay.
out of the city now. But I got booked. I got fingerprinted, everything for filming in a public airport. So you go back to my timeline. I'm not saying don't do it now, but November
No,
4
I'm gonna.
is November 4 was when
Go
I got
ahead.
my trespassing warning. I got a trespassing warning on a public street, recording a secret hangar behind the airport where they were stuffing these illegals, 300 of them, because the place is overcrowded at the center. They were stuffing these illegals at a hangar, bro. It's not even set up for a freaking bathrooms or nothing. And I was there at a camera, and that's when they called the police on me and gave me a warning on a freaking public street. And then like 2 weeks later, I'm at the terminal airport again doing my documentation. Boom, handcuffed, shackled. My feet were shackled for 26 hours. I got to get a lawyer now. I got to pay the legal fees. I got a defense cost now. My Give Send Go is on my bio up on Twitter and on IG. And I listen. I don't like to ask for money, bro. And
No,
skip this part.
no. 100%.
Money's tight.
No. You should
Christmas
plug that. You
time.
should plug that. My audience is extremely smart. They know what's going on. They understand. Trust me.
But they're probably working class like you and me. Things are tough now. I get it, man. But thank God I had enough people that have donated thousands of dollars to me, bro. These people are God saving angels, man. But I don't do this for that. I don't do it for the clicks. I don't do it for the likes. That's not. I do it to document and try to educate my audience. Back to you, John.
Yeah, man. Listen, I started this channel talking about all the shitty things that happen in the stock market to retail investors, right? That's why I started this channel. It was all about how much manipulation goes on, how they're able to control price action on things, and really the little guy has no shot unless they band together and have a common goal. It's the only way you can fight back against the machine, right? And just going back to what you were saying, like, we are just average everyday people who I would say are patriots who care about the future of this country. We want to keep it like me and you said earlier, we're both constitutional, we're both constitutional conservatives. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a Republican. I've never voted in my life. I have never cast a vote ever. Like next year might be the first time I ever cast a vote. But growing up back in Massachusetts, in Boston, it's a very heavy Democratic. Everything is, climate. I mean, man, I remember back in like, third or fourth grade having to do speeches about climate change. Well, they changed it. It used to be global warming, but
Right.
like that was the big thing back in the day, right? And it's cost me relationships with friends and especially family. I mean, that's pushed me to my brink, but I'm not willing to give up on my moral compass. And that's why I appreciate what you're doing right now, because I feel like, goddamn, I mean, if only CNN had the balls to go down on the border and actually do some documentation, who knows what they could expose and find and maybe win a Pulitzer, but they won't, because they toe the party line with the Democrats and the establishment. And it's going to take every bit of fight that we have in us to regain this country, bring it back to our traditional values, to being a constitutional republic, we the people, for the people, by the people. Like it's going to take every individual effort to do that. And, God bless you, man, for the effort you're putting into this whole cause. I truly mean that. All right, let me see if I can find that clip of you getting harassed at the airport. I'm on your page right now. What was it about? Like, do you think it was the beginning of December, Hernando? Like
When I got
2 weeks
arrested?
ago?
When I got arrested?
Yeah.
Go to November 15.
Okay.
I post a lot of
November
videos.
15th. No, I know.
I'm a beast, man. When I'm out there, I'm a beast.
No, I know you are.
Dropping bombs every fucking day, man.
That's why you're growing at the speed and rate that you are, right? Because you
Yeah,
are out there
hallelujah.
hustling. Yeah.
I'm doing And while you look for that video, I want to make sure your audience knows, why is this happening? Is this intentional? Yes, it's intentional. Cloward-Piven strategy. Also, Obama. This goes back to Obama when he signed us to this United Nations Global Migrant Compact. Google it. Global Migrant Compact. That means all these Western countries, because we're not the only ones doing this, right, John?
No,
Yeah.
it's all of them.
All of France, Italy, London, England, all these Western
Ireland
countries.
Yep.
Ireland. These are all Christian countries. Okay, this is what it's about. Christianity. This is a fight between good and evil. They got us into this freaking compact, right? Trump got us out of it, and freaking Biden puts us back day one. So that's why all these refugee asylums are coming, because we signed this stupid pact. That's why these NGOs are making money, because of this stupid pact. We got to get off this damn pact and secure our borders. So I just want your audience to know that this is all run by United Nations, man.
Yeah, and the World Economic Forum. But speaking of which, Hernando, so down in the Darien Gap, there have been reports coming from there, and I haven't been down that area, obviously, but there have been reports coming from down in that area that the old U.S. military base that is in the Darien Gap, it used to be, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was an old fort. Someone said now it's been taken over by the WEF, which is flying its flag where the United States flag used to fly, where the American flag used to fly. Have you heard anyone talk about or mention WEF or World Economic Forum, anything like that in your travels?
Yes. Michael Yon on Twitter. Michael Yon. He's a special forces, deep intel kind of guy. And he's there now. He's always in Panama. He's in El Salvador. And, he videotapes of those cities and say, look how beautiful it is. This is not a third world country. They're fleeing because of crime. It's beautiful over there, bro. So, yeah, also the International Migrant Organization, that's the IMO. IMO is also another big NGO down there. And that's the one they took over the military facility. Of course, we gave Panama, the Panama Canal, we gave that back to during President Carter. So
right, yeah.
Now.
Yeah, China has dibs on that right now, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I mean, should we be shocked that, and I I don't want to say the Chinese people are my enemy, because I don't believe that really. I don't think I have an enemy outside of the United States. My enemy is in the United States. Unfortunately for us, that is where our enemies are. They're right here in our own backyard. I don't have
Right.
no problem with no Russians, no Ukrainians, no Chinese people, no one in Taiwan, no one in Africa, the Middle East. I don't have
Not
any
the,
enemies over there.
not the people, but the government. Yes, I mean the CCP
Yes.
is no joke. I mean they're bringing in the
Right. Oh,
fentanyl.
yeah. They're very oppressive. Yeah, they are. Yeah, absolutely. They're dictatorship. Yeah, but not the Chinese people. It's
No,
not the
no,
Chinese people that I have a problem with. Just like us, we are not here to try to, rile people up or any of that. I think it's just a matter of sitting back and looking at everything, opening your eyes and taking in a wide perspective on what we're seeing happen right now, right in front of our eyes. And the fact that this has been documented for almost 50 years now, like going back to the Club of Rome, World Economic Forum, Kissinger, Cloward-Piven. This all, I mean, they all had this in the works for, half a century now. They've
right.
had this in the works, and you're seeing it on a large scale. And regardless, and look, I understand the point that the American military has done some horrendous things for unjust reasons, and that has caused people to flee their nation, right? But is it the American people that did that, or was it the government that we gave power to that made those calls? Because again, going back to Eisenhower with the military-industrial complex, he warned about that.
Right.
And they killed Kennedy because Kennedy was not a ruthless thug who wanted to go out there and start war with Cuba and Russia, right? I mean, that's why the CIA went and killed JFK, because he didn't want to go along with that. He didn't want to put troops in Cuba. I mean, it seems so apparent to me right now that for the last 50 years, this has been in the frameworks for what these globalist elites want to accomplish. They want to basically get rid of all of your freedoms, take everything from you so they can have complete control. I mean, I know, being on Twitter, how our accounts have grown since Elon bought Twitter out. I mean, just going to that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Amen.
I have that clip of you getting arrested. Oh, actually, you're talking about the update about your arrestment and detainment. I'm gonna throw it up real quick, just so you can kind of. I'll play it, and then you can kind of talk about exactly what happened.
Okay.
All right, here we go. If it'll ever open, there we go. Damn, we were going smooth too. What happened? I think I'm hitting the button too fast. I just got chill.
Arce here, citizen journalist here at the San Antonio Illegal Human Trafficking Center. You can see behind.
Shit. Hold up. Damn, we were doing great too. Hold on. Let me try to close something else out. Maybe that will help smooth things up. There we go. There we go. All right. Now we should be good. Maybe it's not going to play. All right, let me go back. It's the
Vacated by all.
Oh, there we go. As soon as you start talking. Hold up. Let me go back. Maybe we can get it. Now I lost it. What the hell? All right. That's all right. Just tell them what happened. What happened to you at the airport? Why were you arrested?
I was arrested because evil works at night. Evil works at night, and 1 o'clock in the morning, they're shuffling the people from the migrant center to the hangar because they need to have a center vacant for the morning for the new 1,000 people that are kind of come in. So when I was at the airport filming them coming off the bus into the airport because they had flights that night, that's when the police were waiting for me. And they towed my car, they arrested me, shackled my feet, processed me for 26 hours when I should have been out by 10 hours. But the process is to punish
Wait a minute. You were detained for 26 hours. They put leg shackles on you to bring you to county jail?
Yes. And in the county jail, I was shackled. My feet were shackled for 26 hours too. All this for a misdemeanor.
Unbelievable. Dude, there's people right now in New York City that are getting out with homicide charges, released on their own recognizance within 6 hours.
Wow. Not me. And I got my DA, my district attorney, Joe Gonzalez, is bought and paid for George Soros DA, and he's looking to punish me, and he's going to teach me a lesson. He's going to prosecute.
He's going to spank you?
Yeah, he's going to spank me. So it's not going to be easy. I'm going to, just like Owen Schroyer and Alex Jones, this is a common day thing, trespassing. Meanwhile, these illegals are the ones criminal trespassing, not me. They're the ones criminal trespassing. They get free everything, free food, free clothes, airline tickets.
Representation.
The NGOs pay for the airline tickets to go into the interior after 15 days of being at the center. I noticed that. So, and the phones, they get phones, government phones. That's to track them. They're supposed to give the phones back when they go to their first court hearing with the babysitter, ICE babysitter. They get ankle bracelets. I've seen families coming with ankle bracelets, and I'm like, what the fuck's up with these ankle bracelets? Usually it's the father that has it, and it's always with a little infant. And the men, they think it's to track them. I say, no, it's not to track you, it's to track the kid. But these ICE tell them it's to track him. They don't tell them it's to track the kid. They want to track the kid, know where the freak the kids are. So, you see that. And we're paying for those ankle bracelets. So.
And who's issuing those ankle bracelets to these people? The court system? ICE is. So it's federal. It's federal.
It's federal. Yeah.
Okay.
What else can I tell you? They've been arrested. These are not refugee asylums. They did not come in through a port of entry. They did not come in with inspection is the legal term. They came in through the river, guys. The river and Eagle Pass and other areas, broken walls that haven't been finished from Trump. Because they didn't give them the money to finish the walls. But no one's coming to save you is my new slogan as well. I tell my audience, hashtag, no one is coming to save you guys. Your governor's not going to come to save you. Your police is not coming. The military is not coming. Custom Border Patrol is not coming. National Guard is not coming to save you guys. No one is coming to save us except Jesus Christ, because I'm a Christian, right? But I'm just putting it out there. No one's coming to save you guys. So stop pointing the finger. Why does politicians not doing this or that? Because they're all in on it, man. They got us in this mess.
So before, when we did our audio visual check earlier, me and Hernando were talking, and I said to him, we were kind of talking about like why we're doing what we're doing, like why I've kind of switched up the direction of the channel, why I've kind of switched over the material, the aspect of what we're talking about, and I asked Hernando like, why are you going down and spending all this time and effort and money and putting yourself at risk out there for us? And the thing is we don't want a violent overthrow of the government. Like that's not what this is about, right? It's about making people aware of what's going on, and that these people who are in the swamp, this deep state that resides in DC, because all this is coming out of DC. Like let's not pretend like this isn't trickling from the top down, because it definitely is. This is not a grassroots thing that we're talking about. We're talking about this is coming from the top down. And I don't want to see violence or anything like that in this country. Like, I see some of the guys on there, the big influencers, especially if they say they're middle to right, like Tim Pool and some of these other guys talking about civil war and blah blah blah. I'm like, it ain't gonna be a civil war. Like, it's gonna be uncivilized, a massacre. Like, think about who our enemies' defenders would be. I mean, if you're talking about Gen Z, these kids right now who are being brought up in these communist, de facto institutions that are the Ivy League schools or the state schools. I mean, look, when I was going to college back at 25 years ago, they were just starting to get into that, but I was able to get in and out before they really switched up the whole agenda, before Barack came along and really threw a monkey wrench in everything, right? Because, I mean, say what you will about all the presidents that are, guilty of many things. Barack Obama did nothing but divide this country. I mean, for 8 years, he really on the warpath. And to this day, we still don't even know if Big Mike is male or female. To this day, we have no idea.
No idea.
So again, I just want to say, I'm not on here preaching about revolution or civil war or anything like that. I'm saying that from the local to the state to the federal to the presidency, we can make changes as patriotic Americans through our vote, as long as they decide that they can't cheat anymore. Because again, let's talk about this, Hernando, because we haven't brought this up yet. I'd like to know your honest opinion on this. What do you think is in store for the next 10 months leading up to the election?
Hmm.
What are
Well-
your thoughts about what's going to happen?
Well, I think 2024 is going to be a roller coaster year for sure. I don't think they listen. The deep state is not going to want Trump to become president, so they're going to do whatever they have to do to get that happen, up to assassinating him, or put him in prison. And I think that may cause another mad protest like we saw in January 6th, even though January 6th was infiltrated with the FBI and Antifa. But listen, we're at a boiling point with the American patriots. We've been so peaceful, and unfortunately, I think if it happens where they steal the election again, maybe through AI or with these illegals voting, I think unfortunately we're going to see something happening in the streets again. And there's talk about another COVID virus going around and everything. So it's going to be an interesting year, but it's also exciting. For me, it's exciting to be alive at this time in your life. It's exciting because you've never seen anything like this. There are decades when nothing happens, and then there are days when decades happen. That's a quote from Steve Bannon. So as much as I worry, I know that God has a purpose, but hang on to your seats, buckle your seatbelt, Johnny, because it's going to be a crazy fucking year, man.
And again, like, I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe in karma, and I believe in good versus evil. I think there's a reason why Hillary was so presumptuous back in 2016, where they never instated Merrick Garland as that Supreme Court justice. And as we see just in the last 24 hours in Colorado, taking Trump off the ballot, that's going to come down to a majority conservative Supreme Court, only by the good graces of whatever, God that you believe in. And, me and Hernando believe in, I'm sure everyone here, the same God, that allowed that to take place. And because look, Hillary should have wiped the plate with Trump. We're talking about a game show host who, was good at what he did, right? Great businessman, but he had no business winning that election. Like, he wasn't a career politician. Hillary was just so presumptuous. They thought they had it in the bag, and it cost them the Supreme Court. And it's what overturned Roe versus Wade. And it's also what is now going to be the Supreme Court's decision to kick back this, Colorado taking Trump off the ballot and set the precedent for the rest of the country. Massachusetts, West Virginia, don't even bring your shit, because it's not going to be heard and it's going to get kicked back. And I truly believe that, there's a little bit of saving grace in all of us, and that someone is watching our back on a larger scale. Because imagine right now, if the court was split 6-3 to the left, Trump would be off every ballot and Biden would be on every ballot, and you wouldn't have enough. Look, even Marianne Williamson, the woman who's running as an independent, I think she's running a Green Party. Marianne Williamson came out the other day and said, look, Massachusetts, New York, these states up in the Northeast are trying to take all of us off the ballot and only give you a Biden option. Yet this same party is sitting there lying to your face saying, hey, we are the party that's trying to fight for your democracy, for saving democracy. No, you are the fascists. You are the actual thing that you're projecting who you believe Donald Trump to be. That is actually who you are. That you're not giving your people the chance to elect someone democratically on the left from the Democratic side, right? You got Bobby Kennedy Jr., you got Marianne Williamson, Cornel West that's running, and Massachusetts and New York and some of these other very liberal states want to only accept Biden on the ticket. And, I mean, if people can't see that, man, I feel bad for them, because when the shit hits the fan, they're gonna be up shit's creek without a paddle. I truly believe that. They're not opening their eyes wide enough to what's going on right now. It's gonna cost them. I truly believe that.
Yeah, the hypocrisy, right? Everything that left does, they blame us for. They're the ones actually doing it. As with the
100%.
migration, with the immigration, it's they always say separation between church and state. Separation between church and state. Hello, who's running this invasion? The church and the state.
NGOs. Yeah.
It's,
Right.
It's a church and state operation, guys. The hypocrisy is.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
amazing.
I know. So I've been kind of back and forth for the last 6-7 months about the whole thing about abortion. And, I saw kind of what happened after Trump came out and criticized DeSantis. And then, like, the poll numbers started switching around. And the more I've thought about it, and listen, I believe that there are certain things that are very sacred to a woman's body that I have no business weighing in on, right? Like, I truly believe that. Like, there are certain things I don't really think I have much to say in, unless it's mine. If it's mine, then it's different, right? Then we're 50-50. But for some other woman who I don't know what her circumstances are, I don't know that I have much say in that. But what I do know is that if all we're going to do is make it so that if you do bring a kid into the world, they're going to be indoctrinated through the public school systems and the government that's in place to grow up as some kind of communist nutbags, I would rather that be, if it takes that for us to secure a nomination, then maybe that's what, and again, it bothers me so bad, because in the truth of the matter is the black population in the United States has not grown in the last 50 years. 5 decades, we have been at 13%. The biggest growing population in the United States has been the Hispanic community, because they are basically Christians who believe in, a two family household, and they have lots of kids. And I'm being for real. I mean, there's no way around that. That's facts.
Well,
And
20 million more.
Planned Parenthood, no, I know, but Planned Parenthood and all of these government entities. I mean, Planned Parenthood was brought by Margaret Sanger, who was a Malthusian, who believed in eugenics, right? Who wanted to, I mean, her whole reason for bringing up Planned Parenthood was to wipe out anyone who wasn't perfect, a perfect white baby. And what have we seen? 60 million black babies aborted in the last 50 years. Like, think of what the population in America would be of African Americans if Planned Parenthood were not so facilitated by the Democrats, who the black and Hispanic community historically have voted 90-80% for the last 5 decades, right?
Yeah.
We're still talking about this whole migration theory thing and about replacing the white man, but like, that should have happened 50 years ago. I mean, it really should have, right?
Right.
But because of these, why I feel the left is so racist, I feel like they are the worst of the worst, is because they really propagate what they blame the other side of doing. Like, I would rather see, look, I love the Hispanic community. Like I told you earlier, my best friend in elementary, middle, and high school was a Colombian girl. I mean, she was my best friend, and I grew up in the inner city in Boston. I had 1,200 people in my graduating class. There might have been 200 white kids. Everyone else was Cape Verdean. They were from somewhere in the Middle East. They were Asian. They were from all South American. They were Brazilian. We had people from all over the world, and we all got along 25, 30 years ago. We all got along great. There was none of this. We weren't talking about oppressed and oppressor. We were all like, how do we get ahead? We got to get our grades up so we can get into Northeastern BU and, BC, so we can go to a good school and graduate and go on with a degree and make something of ourselves. We weren't talking about oppressed and oppressor. It wasn't an issue. And the left has just made that the issue now. And I feel like we're just heading down a scary, slippery slope, man, with that. The more we allow that to continue.
Yeah, that's why the transvestites are going after your children, because these homosexuals, they cannot procreate. They cannot bear children, so that's why they're going after your kids now in school. And that's
why they're chopping off kids' genitals. I mean, they're chopping off women's healthy breasts at 13, 14, 15 years old. They're chopping off males' reproductive organs who are never going to be able to experience real sex with anyone. Like, they are literally trying to depopulate humanity through this trans agenda, this radical, crazy idea that biological men and biological women are on the same scale when it comes to sports and everything else. And you're mutilating children. When the fuck have we ever allowed that in the history of mankind? Someone to mutilate children, to use them as guinea pigs for vaccines and all this crazy shit that's going on right now? When did we ever allow that through humanity? Since 6000 BC, we haven't allowed that.
Good point. No, you're right.
Drives me crazy, bro. All right, hold on. What was it? Oh. So all right. So you mentioned the other day on the space call, Cloward-Piven. Let's talk about Cloward-Piven. And then I don't want to hold you up all night. And I know you're probably exhausted, bro. So let's talk about Cloward-Piven for a few minutes. And tell me what your thoughts are about what we're seeing right now and how it relates to that.
Cloward-Piven. So I woke up from the Matrix 2008, because I do real estate. I'm in the real estate business, and I lost my whole portfolio of real estate properties in 08. So I thought, okay, who's pulling the strings? So I started reading and reading and reading. And so Cloward-Piven were two older white professors in Columbia University in New York City, and they came up with this theory with Bill Clinton, and I think dedicated a book to them as well, that if you overwhelm the system, the system of a state of America, along with welfare. So that's what's happening now. We have open borders and we have welfare state. Can't have both, because even Milton Friedman, an economist, said that would be a disaster. And so the Cloward-Piven strategy is just overwhelm the system until it breaks. Until when it's broken, then you come in and save the world, save the country by bringing in your own new theory, and that will be some type of Marxist, socialist type of form of government. So that's basically it in a nutshell, John.
So I noticed a few weeks back the new Democrat mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, the guy who replaced Laurie Dirtyfoot. So he was talking the other day and saying that because all of the supermarkets had closed down in the less enfranchised areas of Chicago, they were going to start opening government supermarkets, socialist supermarkets in Chicago, so that these deprived communities will be able to at least have somewhere to go shop. And that was my first hint to say, this guy's going full blown socialist. Like he is a believer. Like, because there are some people out there who want to protest how much they believe in socialism, communism, even though it's never worked anywhere historically on the globe through humankind. It's always brought more people to be oppressed and killed at the end of the day, right? But some of these true believers, man, they are heading us. They are putting us in that down direction. I just saw yesterday he came out and said he wasn't going to hire more cops in Chicago to fight crime. He was going to release $100 million for existential programs to help the youth. No, man. No, there's a reason why Walmart, Target, and Trader Joe's has left Chicago. It is because of the crime and the crime only.
Mm.
Go ahead.
Yeah. What can I say to that? You got the Cloward-Piven strategy up there. Good.
Yeah. Just so
Yeah. You know, these
people can
these
see.
yeah, thank you. These Marxists, they always think they have the better plan, and then when it doesn't work, they blame us. They blame the conservatives. They blame the Republican Party when their plans don't work because they didn't have enough funding. They'll say we didn't do it right, or we didn't have this, or we didn't have that. It's the white man's fault, and that's why a lot of men, white men, is scared to talk about immigration because they'll be labeled a racist. Unfortunately, I've been called a racist, and I'm Hispanic, so I get.
And you're Hispanic, man. I mean, they called Larry Elder the black face of white supremacy. Larry Elder, a talk radio guy from
I love Larry.
California. Yeah, man. Me too. Look, if you want to really know what's going down, listen to Larry. Go and listen to Thomas Sowell talk about how they have eroded the Constitution and this whole oppressed versus oppressor thing. I mean, they are going in, changing all the rules and regulations. They're changing the way you score on tests. All this is
Mm.
going to do is devalue the education system. And with Cloward-Piven, now, like my boy back in Massachusetts just a few weeks ago sent me an email that came from the state, from the governor, saying, hey, listen, these certain hotels are being used for migrant families who are now going to be staying here. We're putting them up in these hotels. These children are going to be coming to your school. This was a notice to all the parents in the city, saying they need to start understanding about being bilingual, understanding where their place is, if they're depending on, where you find yourself in the political spec. I mean, they literally are trying to redesign the whole foundation that our country was built on in 2023.
Mm.
And the audacity of these people, like, man, sometimes it gets me fired up and I just gotta chill out because, that's not gonna get us anywhere. Like you with the police officer, you handled that perfect, right, bro? Like
Yeah.
that is the way to do it. You respect law enforcement and you don't end up, dead usually if you can just
Right.
just play nice. And that's the way you beat these guys, with kindness, right?
I try to. I tell them I respect the PD as long as they respect my rights. Once they start breaking my rights, that's when I have a problem with them.
Yeah, and that cop he seemed pretty
Yeah,
legit, just being like, okay, well, it's your word against hers or NGOs, and I wasn't here, so I can't prove it.
yeah, he
And
was
all right, have a good day. Yeah.
Yeah, he was cop-splaining. That's what they call it.
Cops planning. Yeah.
Yeah,
Being
Governor Abbott here.
Boston and Brooklyn, we know that cops
Yeah,
planning.
getting back to the
I've
immigration.
had my head cracked a few times.
Hey man, getting back to the immigration. That's the topic for tonight. My governor here, Abbott, he just signed a law, a three-part law, and one of us is about stopping the sex trafficking and these coyotes that are bringing in illegals. That was one. The second one was giving more money, more funding, so they could process more illegals. And the third one was make it if you come into the country, into Texas, it's a crime and you'll be sent back. However, by the way, Texas is a sanctuary state, non-sanctuary state, or non-sanctuary cities. It's against the law. However, we still have millions of illegals coming through Texas. So what I'm trying to say here is those laws that Governor Abbott, you probably heard of them, right? They're not going to do shit. They're not going to stop anything, man. Because once these illegals are in the hands of the federal government, these Customs Border Patrol and ICE, it's hands off. These local police can't touch them, bro, unless they commit a crime. Let's say they commit a crime or drunk driving, and they find out he's illegal. Okay, then they're gonna arrest him and say, okay, you're illegal. Maybe they'll walk him to the border, to Mexico.
Okay.
But they may just give them to Customs Border Patrol. What is Customs Border Patrol gonna do? Let them go back out into the
Let them
interior.
go back out. Right.
So it's all a sham. It's all sham.
Yep. And a little too late, right? So I have it pulled up on the screen right here. It says reasonable minds are going to disagree about the right way forward for U.S. immigration policy, but whatever the right answer is, letting individual states enforce their own immigration priorities, as Texas will now do under a new law signed into law by Governor Abbott on Monday, isn't it? Texas bill is almost certainly preempted by federal law Under a 2012 Supreme Court decision, it would also set a terrible precedent where each of the 18 states that border foreign countries could have different consequences for immigration status. New law SB4 makes it a crime under Texas state law for non-citizens to enter or re-enter the United States without authorization, allows Texas law enforcement authorities to stop, arrest, and jail those suspected of having committed that offense, and empowers state judges to issue de facto deportation orders against those convicted of violating the new law. So I saw Stephen A. Smith from ESPN comment about this the other day, Hernando. He was saying that, this is not fair to our brothers and sisters who are coming over the border. I don't know how many brothers and sisters you have from Western Africa or, Algeria or anywhere that these people are coming from right now. My brothers and sisters are in the streets right now. They've been in the streets for the last 20, 30 years. They've been in the streets, right? Like, that's my brothers and sisters that I'm worried about. We got to take care of them first, our own people, and then we can worry about the rest of the world. I never voted to blow up. I never voted to blow up Nicaragua or take Noriega out or do any of that, right? That had nothing to do with me or my family or you or your family. We all came here, immigrated the right way. We came in, did it through the just, lawful means in order to become a citizen of this country. And I feel like everyone should have that opportunity, but you got to go about it the right way. What we're seeing now is complete insanity, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised you said that because I usually like that commentator, sports commentator.
Stephen A.
He's probably, Stephen A. I mean, he's just low information type of American. Then he doesn't know really what's going on. These are not political asylum refugees. They're here. They're coming for economic reasons. Majority of them, from what I'm seeing, and that doesn't qualify for refugee asylum. And of course, you got the terrorists. I mean, they're already here. They're sleeping. They're sleeping cells. They're just waiting for the knock.
They've been here. They're waiting. Yep.
They're based,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You know about oh God, 910. Oh Jesus Christ, 910. It's the Hamas sleeper cells. Cell 910. Hold on. Here it is. Damn, what's it called? Anyways, the Christopher Wray was just testifying in front of Congress about this the other day. He was talking about Hamas sleeper cells that are already in the U.S., have been here for probably a little while, and what's going on right now in the Middle East with Israel bombing the shit out of Gaza with American-made bombs, and blowing those people, and again, as I said earlier, I don't have a dog in this fight. What's going on over there? Like, listen, it's, in my opinion, what's going on over there is mano y mano. I see people on Twitter all the time who back Hamas saying Hamas is whipping IDF's ass. They're blowing up mad tanks. They're taking people out. And then, but those same people are crying ceasefire. I'm like, bro, you can't have it both ways. Listen, either you're going to straight up fight. Like, this has been the way we've conducted war for the last 10,000 years. I hate to break it to you, but it's been over land, money, women, whatever the cause has been, religion, whatever it is. It's always mano y mano. I mean, you're going to roll up and come up on me. I'm going to come back at you with what I have. And may the best man win. And if that happens to be Hamas, if they wipe out Israel, I don't know what to tell you. I want to be out of it. I saw Vivek talk about this the other day on Jimmy Dore. And Jimmy was like pressing him about Israel bombing Gaza. And Vivek kept saying, I'm running to be the president of the United States of America, not Israel and not the Palestinians or the other 35 Muslim countries that surround Israel that could take in their loving brothers and sisters from the Gaza Strip in a heartbeat and just say, we'll let you in, but there must be some reason why they don't want to let them in. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to speculate. Honestly, again, I don't have a dog in that fight. I think Vivek is on point when he says, look, my job is to represent these people here in America. yeah, I'm gonna have to have someone at the UN who's gonna be, you know, my diplomat and so on and so forth. We'll have to have a little bit of influence. You know, he did say that like Israel is our landing spot in the Middle East, but like, man, I would just like to pull everybody out of the Middle East. Like, I don't even want to be involved. We got plenty of natural resources right here in our own backyard. We could put
Yeah.
Americans back to work, drilling, getting oil up. I'm all down with the green energy and all that stuff. Like, you know, I think that's all great and dandy. But, you know, we need to continue to function as a society with the fossil fuels we have available right under our own feet instead of
Yeah.
going over and trying to run coups on governments 24/7 with the CIA.
Amen to that. And Texas has the most amount of oil fields in the world, and it's privately held. It's not federal government. That's a lot of people don't understand that. So yeah, thank God Texas is can be self-sufficient. Also, there's 3 grids in the country in the United States, 3 electrical grids: East Coast, West Coast, and Texas. Texas has its own electric grid.
Yeah, you guys are primed to. I mean, if you wanted to from the United States tomorrow, start the Republic of Texas. And I'm telling you, bro, the last 2 or 3 years, I've thought many times about moving to Texas, just because I feel like I would be most comfortable there in my own skin. Like, man, going back east right now
Yep.
to go fight these demons, I'm not looking forward to it. I tell you that. I mean, I'm going to a den of vipers right now,
Yeah.
but I feel like the cause is worth it. Like, Hampshire's a very purple now. We could definitely turn that red, but we gotta knock on doors. We gotta put boots on the ground and get people woken up to the fact that, you know, there is no way on God's green earth that if the Democrats come back in 2024 with Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, that we are not toast as a Western democratic nation, constitutional republic. All that's fucking out the window. I promise you
Yeah.
that.
I agree. The window would be closed at
Crazy,
that
man.
point.
Yeah. Yeah. The window would be closed. Yeah. I think we got 10 months and 1 shot to get this thing right and start righting the ship where the majority is back in rule again. Because for the last 50, 60 years, since we came off the gold standard, since, you know, they killed JFK and we went to a military industrial complex oligarchy, we have not been a government for we the people. I mean, you know, a lot of us would like to see an end to the Ukraine war. I preached about that for the last 3 years and saying, no, this is NATO being offensive when that was never what its intention was when it was set up. And that's why another reason why they hated Trump so much, right? He despised the whole thing of NATO. What is the point of NATO? We don't need NATO anymore. No one's coming to invade United States. We got 20 million patriots who are armed to the teeth that if anyone ever tried to step sideways on this country would be at the front lines in a heartbeat. Like there's no way we're ever getting invaded. There's no need to go after Russia. Russia's not trying to take over Europe. They're trying to protect Russian-speaking ethnic people who were in Ukraine when we decided to throw a coup in 2014. And you know, I've lost subscribers because of the vax, because of Ukraine, because on stances on things in the last 3 years, where I said on January 6th, when I said this will be the biggest case of police entrapment in the history of the U.S. I said that I've lost a lot of people, right? Like 4,000 subscribers over the last 3 years.
Damn.
But so far, they've all been conspiracy theories until they weren't. And I feel like that's where we're headed right now. And that's why, man, I appreciate so much what you're doing. And I God bless you for sticking your neck out there and going down and documenting this and showing everyone else what is going on. I wish you to continue to grow. And, you know, I mean, I don't know. We never even talked about what you do in your secular life, but man, you are great at what you're doing right now. I mean, just keep this up down this road. You will be a superstar, man. You will definitely 100%.
Thank you, man. Listen, I just do it because it's a project that I think needed someone to do, and no one stood up. So I just stood up and did it. And like I end all my videos, I do it for God and country, man. As a patriot, that's all.
Damn, man. I hate to admit it, but you have the best sign off ever. Like I really thought I said, you know, when I had my sign off and said we're here to break the wheel, I thought I was like, all right, man. I'm like, you can't get any better than that. And then I heard you the other day say, Forgotten Country twice. And I was like, oh man, then he emphasized it again. I'm like, damn, that is like one good sign off. Hey man, just so you know, everybody in the chat is saying, God bless you, Hernando. Thank you, Hernando. We
I see that.
appreciate what you're doing. Yeah,
Thank
man.
you,
Yeah.
ANC1. You got some great, Andrew. Thank you guys. You got some great, the Donkey Kong. Thank you guys. You got some great audience members. So much respect to you.
Dude, I have
platform.
We might be one of the smartest audiences on YouTube. I'm not kidding. Between the stock market and politics and what's really going on behind the scenes, my audience is very well educated. I'm very thankful.
You remind me of this other guy who's.
I have like one of the best.
You remind me of some other fella that does the same thing like you. His name is Ryan Mata, but he's big into crypto and Bitcoin. He's big into Bitcoin. So I don't know how you feel about Bitcoin, but he's huge about that. He has the same show like you, but on Rumble, and so he's a good friend of mine. He came down here and documented this whole invasion. He's out of Detroit. He's out of Michigan.
Okay, Ryan Mata, and he talks crypto with Bitcoin. Okay,
and he's a nice dude, man, just like you.
Okay, nice I have a little bit of crypto. I'm worried about CBDC, bro. I'm worried about them. I'm worried about a crash coming because, as you know, my background is the market, right? That's how I got into YouTube and everything. I've seen what they've been doing to the market and how much fake money has been put out there in the last 3 years, and everything is hanging on by a thread right now. I'm very nervous the government is going to create a CBDC and avoid having to deal with anything with banks or any of that. So if they want to control narratives and they want to shut you up or they want to put you out of business, they can do it without having to go through any of that private bullshit. They can just have a CBDC that's backed by the Fed and they'll have full control over it. And if you don't toe the party line, either you don't get paid or you can't get hamburger meat or whatever it is. You can't gas up your whip, whatever it is they're going to do with it. So I do believe cryptocurrency is one of our ways of avoiding that and using it as a way to transfer a barter system back and forth to each other for goods and services and whatever, right?
Yeah,
keeping the CBDC out of there, man. I do not want a central bank digital currency. That's the last thing. That they're trying to eliminate cash so that they'll have complete control. And again, this boils down to this globalist agenda, man. And we are one of the last standing oppositions to that because the third world nations will go with it in a heartbeat. Look at El Salvador, how well they've done since that president took over. He riled up all of MS-13, put them in jail. They started a Bitcoin currency there, a Bitcoin backed currency. And he's got an 80% approval rating right now, that young guy down in El Salvador, right? Because he did two things. He cracked down on crime and he made it so that it's going to be a lot fairer for you to do trades and transactions and not having to worry about, the decentralization of our currency or how much the dollar goes up and down. He's got an 80% approval rating. There's a reason for that because he's not going down the socialist commie path. He's going down the path of what the people want. That's why you got an 80% approval rating. What's Joe Biden at? 32?
Something like that.
Jesus.
Right.
All right, I think we covered everything. I think we covered everything. I want to, if you have anything you want to say before we go, I don't want to tie you up all night, man. We've been on for almost 2 hours now. So
really? No,
anything you want to say to the folks?
I had a good time here tonight.
Yeah, it did.
No, I think we could cover everything. I think things are going to get much worse here at the border. It's not going to get any better. And, we're seeing 10, 15,000 a day. Those are the ones without even the ones that got away. So really, we're probably going to go up to maybe 100,000 a month. 100,000 a day. Right now, we're averaging 300,000 to 400,000 a month. So things are going to get worse. Yeah. So hang on tight. Put your seatbelt on because 2024 is going to be a crazy year. But I'm excited to be part of it, man. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm going to make sure I share it with my other audience on Twitter and on IG. Thank you, John.
Look, man, I feel so blessed to have a man like you out there who's a true patriot, who believes in what he's doing and is trying to expose all of this for all of us who might not be able to get this kind of coverage. And, you know, thanks to Elon and having space calls, and that's how me and you hooked up, and, you know, Restream and all these different things that are really changing the world right now at a fast pace. And, you know, we can make change. I'm not hopeless. I believe in people like yourself. And I feel very blessed for you to have come on tonight. So I appreciate all your time, man. Much love. And for God and country, right?
You said it, baby.
Okay. All right. Listen, guys, I'm going to play the outro, and then I want to talk to Hernando real quick. So I'm going to play the outro right now. And then Hernando, just hang on one sec when I end the stream so I could talk to you private real quick. All right.
Got it.
All right, guys. And I'll give some shout outs on the way out. Let me find my outro. Yeah, I think this went really good tonight. I'm really thankful that I had a very articulate gentleman tonight to come on my show for once. All right, here we go. We got an outro. All right, but don't keep pushing the powder. Caleb, Harry Parrott, Andrew. Thank you, man. Hi, Ellie, Beverly, AMC1, Badonk, Andrew, DB Cooper, Feek. Good to see all you guys. Hey, Tommy B, what's going on, man? I'm sorry I didn't get too much into the chat tonight, but I wanted to give my man some time to speak. So thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I appreciate all the support and the love. And this fight's just starting. Don't worry. We got plenty of time before 2024 and the election. All right, guys. Much love. Make sure you go follow Hernando on Twitter and IG. Show him some support. Show him some love. You guys have a great night. Peace.